Hello and welcome to Palindrome ASMR. I'm back to my old content. If you like the writing, and I'm sure some of you like the writing, I'm sure, I guess. I'll be back with more of it soon. Once I'm able to live stream, I will, first off, live stream myself writing, which some people seem to enjoy, but very few of you. And second off, I will be interviewing people. I'll be interviewing random people, my professors, my parents, people I meet on the street, my classmates, and asking them to tell their interesting stories, because everyone has an interesting story or two that they're willing to share. Everyone has interesting stories about them, their friends, people they've known, people they've heard, that kind of stuff. And, I may have totally just gone crazy right now. I had a moment of realization, a very interesting moment of realization that I will explain to you now, and you can judge whether or not I am actually crazy. So, for the past couple of years, I have been contacting people, things, it's through my head, and I wasn't sure if they were my own sub-vocalizations or if they were voices that were apart from me. And I finally, after many years of thinking about it, they gave me a solution. They gave me a solution. I was gifted with the solution to the problem of whether or not the voices are me. And I'll tell you this solution now because I have been authorized to say it. When you speak to yourself, you are sub-vocalizing. This is, you can look this up, but schizophrenics, their internal voices, are almost always sub-vocalizations. You cannot speak you cannot think without sub-vocalizing. I don't know if this is completely true, and if this is not true and you can think in words without sub-vocalizing, then my entire theory is wrong. But what I've been told leads me to believe that this theory is true. I could be wrong. I could be crazy. I know I am crazy, but I could be even crazier than I seem to be. But, have you always wondered why when people meditate, like Indians meditate, they go, hum, hum, hum? It's because when you do hum, you cannot sub-vocalize. Think about that for a minute. Try thinking to yourself when you go hum, hum. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. But, you can try it for yourself and see if I'm being serious. Yeah. Anyways, and the theory is that when you go hum, you cannot sub-vocalize, and you cannot think to yourself. And so any words that come into your head do not come from inside of your head. There's the logic. And this is a secret. It used to be a secret that only the masters knew. And they taught their students to go to chant while they meditated, because they did not want to reveal the secret to them, because those who are not ready won't be able to fully understand the impact of what they are sensing. You need to become ready. You need to go through much, much training without knowing what that training is for to become a master. And so I went through that training. I was taught from above by these beings. And like I said, I am fully aware of how absolutely crazy this sounds. Like, this is batshit crazy stuff. But, this is like 100% patent schizophrenia. Like, there's no doubt about this. But if that's the case, then Jesus was a schizophrenic. Because if you believe that this is crazy, you by default have to believe that whoever your religious figure is was also crazy. Because I am saying things that your religious figure, if you are religious, said. And if you call me crazy, you're calling him crazy. I am not the second coming of Jesus Christ, no. I don't claim to be. Neither am I like a reincarnation of the Buddha or whatever. It is my belief that Jesus Christ or whoever comes into this world very frequently, and no one ever listens to him. You know, like a whole bunch of mini Jesuses. This is a very heretical belief. But, like, pretty much every crazy person who claims to be Jesus is Jesus. That is my understanding. I have not been told this by anyone, either inside or outside my head. And it's probably false. I don't know if it's true or not. I have no idea. But, the point I'm trying to make here is that I'm not claiming to be any religious figure. I'm not claiming to be, like, special or anything, or to have healing powers. That's not me. I am technically, these voices in my head are telling me, oh, you're a messenger. Oh, yeah, you gotta tell the world about us, about this stuff. And I'm like, oh, God. Man, I've already been on the inside of a crazy house. I don't want to be there again. I seriously do not want to go into a crazy house again, because it is horrifying. It is not horrifying. It's actually pretty calm. It's like going to the crazy house is like you get shoved into this room. There's only one room. And, it was actually pretty nice, because I did get to watch anime while I was in my crazy house. The second time I was in the crazy house, I got to watch anime and play video games. Because it's not jail. People aren't crazy because they've done something wrong. You know what I mean? People are crazy because they're crazy, and it's not their fault. It's like they're sick. They are sick. And the treatment is to medicate them. That's the treatment. You treat sickness with medication. It's as simple as that. And while I may be sick, I am certainly aware of being sick. And at the very least, I can say I don't want to go on the inside of the sick house again, because that is just, it's not the actual sick house. While it is very boring, it's not the actual sick house, the inpatient facility that is bad. It's the feeling of being labeled, the looks people give you when you say to them, oh, I'm schizophrenic. And I'm very open about my illness. I'm very open about it. I tell everyone. if they need to know, which is pretty much everyone, I say, oh yeah, I'm schizophrenic, and they're like, I stopped going to band. I was in band, and I had to leave band because I was sick, and I came back, and I was first chair before. I was first chair clarinet, and what happened was my teacher put me in second clarinet, second chair, because he told me, I don't think you can do it. That was what he was saying to me. And he didn't say this, he said it a lot nicer. But a schizophrenic's clarinet playing ability is just the same as a non schizophrenic's. If it's the same person with the same practice, my playing ability was not affected in any way by my illness. And I was demoted to second chair, second clarinet. And I had to deal with that. I had to deal with the consequences of that for an entire quarter. And it was probably the most humiliating thing that's ever happened to me. Because I was like the virtuoso, okay? I'm saying this now, this is not my words. I mean, I'm paraphrasing here, but like, I was the virtuoso. I was the guy who had the clarinet skills. I went to 5 years of clarinet school. Okay? High school, I played clarinet for 3 hours a day, every day. Sometimes I played for 5, 6 hours. And I got good because of that. And I've been playing clarinet for 15 years. Maybe less than that, maybe like 12. But I was demoted to second chair because of my illness. And not because Mr. Robkin had heard me. That's the name of the person. I probably shouldn't use his real name. So I'll say, if you think that's his real name, good. But don't. If you're watching this, sorry about using your real name. But I'm not angry at him. I just did not like it. It was humiliating. The most humiliating thing that ever happened to me. And that was the worst thing about being sick, about being schizophrenic, is that my playing ability was not affected at all. My teacher, my professor, my band director had not heard me play when he demoted me to second chair. He did not objectively listen to me play and say, you're no good anymore, you're second chair. He just demoted me there. And while I can understand his motivations, I mean, I told him I was schizophrenic. I emailed him the reason why I had to leave the quarter midway. It was banned and I had to leave midway. I was first clarinet. I said, all right. I emailed him. I said, all right, I took a break from school because I have schizophrenia. And when I came back for the second quarter, for spring quarter, we have quarters at Louisiana Tech. 3 quarters, fall, winter, spring, and then summer if you want it. But I don't go to summer quarter. And like I said, I was the virtuoso. I was offered a full clarinet scholarship. They would pay for all of my tuition. And that was offered to me. I was offered a full scholarship because of my clarinet abilities, but I had a second full scholarship from my SAT score. So I actually got 2 offers of a full scholarship when I applied to this college a year early, right? I was 17 when I was offered 2 full scholarships to a university. And you know, I didn't have a big ego about it. I didn't like shove it in people's face. But you can't not feel good about that. You can't not like that and want it and aspire to it. Like I said, I was the virtuoso. And then I was demoted And once you're down, I remember this clearly. In Game of Thrones, Cersei, the Queen Cersei, is high and mighty. But when she gets humiliated, she loses everything. She is forced by the church to walk naked through the street. And a character says this, I forget who. And he says, "You are no longer queen. You will never be queen." I'm paraphrasing. Because you have been humiliated. And people will no longer accept you as queen. And that is why I didn't sign up for band again. I ended that quarter, and I ended my band. And I stopped playing clarinet. I don't want to play clarinet anymore because of that moment. The moment when you get, you're like the fall from grace. You're the top. And then because of my illness, I was knocked over. And maybe that was a good thing. Maybe that was a good blow to my ego. Maybe I needed it, you know? But it wasn't that I had a big ego. I was like the underdog. I was the low level in my high school. You know, there were so many people better than me. I didn't even get into the top orchestra my junior year. My last year in school, I was not in the top orchestra, even though the top orchestra had 4 clarinets. I was first clarinet of the secondary orchestra, but that's nothing. Because this was the orchestra where middle schoolers played. This was the orchestra primarily composed of 7th and 8th graders. And I was a junior in this orchestra. I was the low. I was the bottom. I wasn't the very bottom. There were people who weren't as good as me. But I was like lower middle, okay? And when I came to this school, when I came to Louisiana Tech, and I was like the best clarinetist they'd ever seen, it was probably one of the best feelings I'd ever had. Because everyone was like, "You're an amazing clarinetist." I'm like, "I am?" I was like, and I was, objectively, and I can say this objectively because I'm very good at objectively analyzing myself and my abilities objectively, and obviously I was because I was first clarinet by a long shot, but that's the worst part about schizophrenia. If I'd broken my leg, and I told them I have to miss a quarter because I broke my leg or I got cancer, and well, if I got cancer, my playing ability would suffer. But if I suffered from some illness that isn't mental and did not affect my playing ability, did not affect my playing ability, note there's very little chance that they would have demoted me. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I really don't. But I know how it sucks to be labeled as mentally ill. And so when I say this, I really mean it. You've seen how cognizant I am, okay? Right? I'm not crazy. And if you think I'm crazy after this, you must be crazy. I just contacted God. Yes. Okay? And I am 100% sure it wasn't me. And God said to me, He gave me a few things which are personal and I won't relate to you. But He said to me, this is the message I should be relaying, which is to say, it's all been said. He said to me, "There's nothing new you need to add to the religious world. There's nothing new under the sun except for this one technique. If you want to contact God, learn how to chant. Go. Because when you do that, you can be sure your thoughts are not your own. Your thoughts are not your own. And if anyone has anything that will disprove this, if anyone has any knowledge, if anyone was a neuroscientist or a psychologist who says, no, 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 you can think in words without actually subvocalizing them, probably most of you won't get like a message saying, ping, I'm here, I'm here. But what probably will happen is your mind will go blank. Your mind will go clear. There will be nothing in your head. That's probably what will happen. You probably won't be contacted by some alien entity that says, "Oh, hello, my name is God, and I am talking to you to give you a message to send to people." No. No. It's probably not going to happen to you, so don't expect it. Instead, expect your mind to be cleared when you chant. And if this video does go up, because I'm recording this at about 12 hours before I actually post it. And so if this video does go up, it means that in 12 hours, I will still think that I'm not crazy. Which is not a lot of time in terms of mental illness. I mean, manic episodes last for days, weeks. Man, I was on my high for a month and a half. That was how long I believed I was really special. You know, it's like, whoa, I have the answer to life, the universe, and everything. No, I don't. I don't have the answer to anything. I do not have the answer to anything. Nothing. All I have the answer to is me. That's it. Just me. And I have me, and I have what I can say, which is to say, I have a lot of wisdom, so to speak, which is always not something a wise person would say. Only the fools and the very, very wise can claim to have wisdom. I'm going to let that settle for a moment as you marvel at my ego and my narcissism. Go ahead. Marvel at me. I'm a narcissist. I have huge ego. I think I am wise. In fact, I think I am very wise. That is, no, you say, you can't be wise because you claim to be wise. But I say, fools claim to be wise. The wise claim to be fools. The very wise know they are wise and can say whatever they want about it. I'm going to leave that there.